When your arm falls off, a medical doctor is obviously the best person to see. Having a heart attack? I'd recommend the hospital. But what about when it comes to preventing diseases through sound nutrition and lifestyle? We trust our doctors to heal us, treat us, and help us live long, healthy lives. But what if the advice our doctors, medical professionals, and organizations are imparting isn't true or grounded in reliable science? And worse, what if it's actually making us sicker? Hi, it's Emily from Bite Size Vegan, and welcome to another Vegan Nugget. When it comes to nutrition and preventing disease, the last person you may want to see is a medical doctor. Unless, of course, that doctor is my guest today. I'm honored to again have on my channel Dr. Michael Greger of nutritionfacts.org. Dr. Greger spends countless hours poring over the most current studies in nutrition science and distilling all of the noise into approachable videos and posts. His most recent masterpiece is his book, How Not to Die, which I interviewed him about in this video. Most of Dr. Greger's conclusions, which are based on thousands of studies he's reviewed, conflict with the most common recommendations we hear from the medical field. So, why are we being given false information by those who we trust with our health? And how much do doctors really know about preventing disease? Let's find out from the doctor himself. The recommendations that you have in your book for both nutrition and fitness, they vary quite a bit from the standards that we see. For example, you're recommending 90 minutes of low intensity or 40 minutes of high intensity exercise a day, when usually we hear something like 20 to 30 minutes 3 times a week. Could you explain the gap that exists there?
Right, and not not low intensity, but moderate intensity. 90 minutes moderate intensity. Okay, and it's the differences between what authorities feel is practical, doable, versus what the science actually says. And so their fear is that if they actually tell Americans the truth, that it'll be so that Americans will be like, oh, there's no way I'm going to do that, and not do anything. So they soft pedal it by saying, get 20 minutes. And sure, 20 minutes is much better than 0. 10 minutes is better than 0. But it's a little patronizing to have them make their decision for you, that you don't care enough about yourself, you don't care enough about your family's health to be able to handle the truth. And the truth is that 30 minutes is better than the recommended 22. We have science suggesting 45 minutes is better than 30. 60 is better than 45, and 90 minutes a day is better than 60. What about more than 90 minutes? They don't know, because there's never been enough people to study that actually got more than 90 minutes a day, 7 days a week. So, the best available data suggests 90 minutes a day is the best. How else can we make decisions about how best to feed ourselves and our family and how best to live than by the best available balance of evidence? So there it is. Do you have to do 90 minutes to be healthy? No. But you should know that that's what we should shoot for, and any is better than none. And it shouldn't intimidate people to lie on the couch all day. But, you want to know what the science... I mean, why do the science? Why do studies if you're not going to tell anybody about it?
And does that also hold true then for a lot of the dietary recommendations when they give recommendations for protein amounts, fat amounts, those kind of things?
The same thing. So, I talk about in the blood pressure chapter, how not to die from blood pressure, high blood pressure. I talk about this so-called DASH diet, the dietary approach to stop hypertension. So that's the official diet recommended by the American Heart Association. And so what is the DASH diet? The DASH diet is kind of a low-meat diet. And so the question is, well, why not a no-meat diet, since meat consumption has been associated with, in fact, not just associated, you give people meat, their blood pressure, you give a vegetarian meat, the blood pressure goes up. You take a meat eater, take meat away out of their diet, within 7 days, the blood pressure comes down. Not rocket science. So why not a vegetarian diet? And so the American Heart Association is very clear that the only population in the Western world that actually gets down to an ideal blood pressure, is about 110/70, are the strict vegetarians. They're very clear about that. They've been clear about that for decades. So why do they recommend a diet that contains meat? Well, were they just unaware of this landmark research done by Harvard's Frank Sachs back in the 70s? No, they were aware. The guy who came up with the DASH diet, The head of the design committee was Frank Sachs. In fact, they're explicit that the number one goal of the DASH diet was to capture the blood pressure lowering benefits of a vegetarian diet, yet they're very explicit about this, contain enough animal products to make it palatable to the general public. So they're saying, yes, this will kill people, but you see what they're thinking? Their thinking is, look, we need to, on a population scale, maybe if we soft pedal the truth, more people will get on board, and overall, you will actually do more good in the world, right? If we actually tell people the truth, no one's going to eat a vegetarian diet, right? So then no one's going to be helped. At least now we can help people a little bit, lots of people a little bit. Okay, tell that to the 1,000 families a day that lose a family member to high blood pressure. All right? Maybe it's time to start telling the American public the truth.
Within this book, you talk about, and I mean, this is something that I think people not in the mainstream are more aware of, that in medical school, doctors aren't really getting nutrition education. Most schools are having, maybe one course or something. It's quite lacking, and yet we almost trust medical doctors entirely with nutrition advice. Why is it that this is still yet to kind of shift, with all of the research showing that, of course, what we put in our body affects our health?
Not one course. Only a quarter of medical schools have a single course. Okay. All right, so 75% of schools don't even have one course. So the average doctor may just get a few hours of nutrition training. In fact, there's this study that I did an early video about years ago, in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, that pitted doctors versus patients in a simple 10 true false question, basic nutrition information. Sometimes patients beat out the doctors. People while walking around the street may know more about nutrition than the doctors, and we all know how much people walking around the street know about nutrition, right? Yet people continue to go to their doctors for advice on healthy eating, right? And what their doctor may be telling them may be killing them. Until your doctor knows more about nutrition, they're advising you about your diet is physician-assisted suicide, as far as I'm concerned. Why? Okay, well, there's a number of reasons why this hasn't penetrated yet. One, the role the pharmaceutical industry plays in, medical education and training. You can ask your doctor when's the last time that Big Broccoli took them out to lunch. It probably was not that recently. There are reimbursement problems. Doctors don't get paid to counsel their patients about diet. There's time issues. They may not be given the time to counsel patients about that. Although, how long does it take to go? 21daykickstart.org, nutritionfacts.org. Buy this book. Come on, people. And, there's a tremendous kind of inertia within the medical profession. What really helped me was going back and looking at the 50s and smoking. My latest annual review, Food is Medicine, I talk about what it was like back then. People didn't realize, I certainly didn't realize, the average per capita cigarette consumption is 4,000 cigarettes a year. Average person in the United States smoked half pack a day. Most doctors smoke, right? So it's like today, where most people eat meat, right? Okay, so go back to 1950s, everybody smoked. The AMA said smoking moderation, totally fine. Right, sound familiar? Right? The government said smoke, everybody said to smoke. Right? The AMA said on balance smoking is probably beneficial. Right? Okay. So, now, the science was in already in the 1950s. There were decades of science showing that, non-smokers 90% less lung cancer risk. Right? Okay. So we had decades of science. The science was there, yet all of society, everybody, doctors were telling you to smoke, the doctors were smoking themselves, right? It wasn't until the 1960s, when the first Surgeon General report came out, took 25 years, 7,000 studies. They had accumulated, you'd think after the first 6,000 it could have given people a little heads up or something? No, 7,000 studies. Okay, how many people died before the Surgeon General? What if they came out 10 years ago, 20 years earlier, 25 years earlier, right? We're in the same situation today. The overwhelming evidence. We already have the science, right? Yet, what do we hear? From our doctors, from everybody, because they're just not aware of the science. Now, eventually, society will catch up to the science. Like it did in the 60s. Okay? How many people have to die until that happens, right? We can't wait until society catches up to the science because it's a matter of life and death. We have to take the responsibility for our own health, for our family's health, as doctors, for our patients' health, and encourage people to eat the diet that prevents and reverses our leading killer, not to mention type 2 diabetes and hypertension and everything. Right? Plant-based diet.
I hope you enjoyed hearing from Dr. Greger. It never ceases to amaze me how much education medical doctors receive about how to treat diseases versus how to prevent them. Luckily, there are physicians out there like Dr. Greger who provide this vital information. You can find a link to Dr. Greger's book in the description below. I highly recommend it, and all proceeds go to charity. I'd love to hear from you on this. Have you had any negative experiences with the medical field? Are you surprised by how little nutrition education doctors receive? Let me know in the comments. And check out more of my videos with Dr. Greger linked below and in the sidebar. If you liked this nugget of truth, do give the video a thumbs up and share it around to help others find health. If you're new here, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. I put out fresh content covering all aspects of veganism every Monday, Wednesday, and some Fridays. To help support Bite Size Vegan's educational efforts, please see the support links below or click the Nugget Army icon there or the link in the sidebar. Now go live vegan, don't buy the lie, and I'll see you soon. All that we really need to say to convey this sad state of the medical profession in regards to nutrition is the fact that there's McDonald's inside hospitals. So not only do your patients die, but so does science.